Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the latest episode of Supernatural Exodus. And I'm kind of torn on this episode. On one hand, I like that we got forward momentum on the overall plot. Now granted, that happened more towards the end rather than anything, but I'm glad we got some movement for it. However, I don't believe it was the best movement, and I think that this episode lacked focus. And it's weird to say that because we had all the characters in the same place pretty much, but we didn't know what we were supposed to be focusing on until the end when they decided to make it clear. Now, I understand that they wanted to focus on certain things throughout the episode, but it felt like they were trying to make each of these seem as important as the next ones preceding it. We got stuff with Jack and Lucifer, we got stuff with Sam and Dean, we got stuff with Lucifer and Gabriel, we got stuff with the Apocalypse World people and the Winchesters, and we also even got some stuff with Charlie and Ketch. It just felt overall like they didn't understand what they wanted to focus on and what were the most important things in this episode. That's just the feeling I was getting. Now, granted, we got important things out of these interactions, but when I'm watching it and when I was looking at it and seeing what was going on, I'm going, okay, we are gearing up towards the endgame scenario. How are these plot threads going to be moving together? Because we really didn't get much movement on everything. We got touchstones, if you will, of this is what's going on with Jack and Lucifer more than, okay, laying a groundwork for what's going on. I very much got the feeling that plot, again, was driving everything over character. And you definitely got that at the end. So the start of this episode dealt with the whole thing of Sam coming back and having Lucifer there, and Dean and Cass pretty much going, Jack, do not talk to Lucifer. And I just wish they'd gotten a little bit more into it and being like, listen, Prince of Lies, he's going to tell you whatever he wants just to get you on his side. And that's another kind of important thing. We don't know what Lucifer's endgame goal or what he wants to do with Jack. An interesting thing could be for Lucifer and Jack. Now, granted, this is my own plot thing. An interesting thing would have been for Lucifer to want to understand what being a father means with Jack, going through those kind of trials and tribulations, and then getting a better understanding of why God did what he did to him because of his actions. But I don't have faith in the writers to actually go with that route. We're going to get the plot that they want, moving the characters in their direction. So we get Lucifer being his smarmy ass self, and we got a lot of good top form Lucifer in this episode. Just being an asshole pretty much, but also some good kind of depth from him as well. So he's pretty much just trying to get to know Jack and everything, and trying to give his sides of the stories, while Jack also asking about God and all that. Which kind of brings up more of my problems that I'll go into later. We get Sam and Dean having a pretty good moment together. I'm like, hug it out, man! And of course they hugged it out. I'm like, yeah, alright, that's pretty cool. Being like, alright. Sam, of course, apologizes, and Dean's like, you're here, right? You're not dead. Got nothing to apologize for. So, there we go. Sam and Dean, I believe, got the least amount of screen time, even though they're kind of pivotal in what's going on. Which just irks me because they're the anchors, and of course, I think the main problem I had was the juggling of the supporting cast around what's going on. Because then they go off to talk to Mary, and they get the information from Lucifer that they've got about like 31 hours. Even though he said that he'd left Rowena with some grace and all that, which, of course, he's lying. So they kind of now have this time frame to go on, which is kind of weird. You don't really feel that much of a sense of urgency of stuff going on. But they tell Mary about it, and she's like, listen, I don't want to leave these people. I want to help them finish their fight and all that. And then, of course, Dean's kind of like pissed off about that, but he kind of understands. Sam, of course, goes, "Hell, what about we take them with us?" You know? And I'm like, okay, interesting. He goes, well, why don't we bring them with us? And then we reopen the gate and come back and kick Michael's ass. Yeah, and she's like, well, there's about like 25 people. I'm like, well, we'll see if it can hold that, but okay. I'm like, alright. That's kind of what's going on where we're getting the whole Jack and Lucifer thing going on. We then focus more on Jack and Lucifer, him actually going up to Gabriel to try and kind of get Jack a little bit more on his side. Gabriel's like, screw that, you're always the victim. Gabriel was in top form in this episode. I liked him as the Loki kind of trickster figure, but I really enjoyed seeing him be the kind of brother in this episode that's kind of done with the family bullshit. He's stepping in and stepping up to handle this, but it's like, come on, guys. He's been the funny one, and he's now in serious mode, and you kind of gotta deal with it. Because he hammers on Lucifer at one point, and they're like, oh, you're always the victim, huh? Which then went to a really great scene of him and Lucifer just talking about themselves because they had to stay at the camp to make sure that if angels came, that they could defend everything going on while the Winchesters were talking with the group of people about their plan and just bringing up all the stuff that God did and all that. And Gabriel being like, you really don't understand, do you? That God made humans and they're like beautiful and innocent, and you just couldn't take that he loved them more than you. And so you had to corrupt them and just tempt them and be an asshole to them and mess with all this stuff. And Dad saw what you were, how you would be a cancer and how you would spread, and that's why he did what he did. And then seeing how Gabriel hit him with that, I'm like, wow, great. And then also, as Gabriel turned away and seeing Lucifer kind of cry, was interesting. And I liked seeing that. I'm going, okay, do something with that. But we just get it for that scene. And that brings up an important kind of point that I don't think has been brought up since its introduction, going into whole continuity of lore. We had found out during the whole darkness kind of thing that Lucifer had been given the mark of the darkness to keep the prison sealed. It has never gone in or explained if Lucifer's kind of views and everything had been warped by the mark, or if these are the views that he held before the mark. I only say that because that introduces vast complexities of Lucifer's character. He's either an asshole because he chooses to be, or he's either an asshole because he became one because of the craziness that he got from the mark. That very much changes who and what his character is. But I don't think we'll get that. It's when that kind of stuff is brought up with Lucifer's past of why he did what he did, why he rebelled against heaven, I feel that we just get this cursory kind of gloss over, and I like digging deeper into those kinds of things as a character, for characters, because it's important because it informs the choices that they make when you go with characters driving plot instead of what we're going with now. So that was a scene that I really liked for both characters because it showed how Lucifer views himself, how Gabriel views Lucifer, and everything that went down with that, and what Gabriel's at least trying to do now. So Sam and Dean and Mary go and they give their idea to the Apocalypse World survivors, and they're like, we don't want to run out on this fight and everything. And they're going, you're kind of losing a lot of people, and we're back sitting in our world with like a lot of lore and weapons and stuff that could really help you in this fight. And when you put it that way, I'm going, you had to think about this kind of. There was another way that could have been done for this, in my opinion, to work a little bit better. In that, yes, they have grown to trust Mary. What if they had had trust issues of saying, what if their world's worse than ours? What if this is a trick or something by Michael? If they had gone with that more kind of route, I would have rather understood it. I understand not wanting to lose a fight, but a tactical retreat is what they've been doing works out. They even are like, we just come back and kick Michael's ass. Alright, that's an important plot point that's going on. Now they're about to be going out and they're getting a bus kind of ready to get everything to the rift and all that, because they eventually do agree. But, of course, we have to take the weirdest damn detour of all time. They're trying to figure out where Ketch and Charlie are. And it's really convenient that it's towards the midway point that they're finally going, hey, where the hell is Ketch? But we go off on this jaunty little ride because they were going to take people that were ambushing people and then in turn themselves get ambushed. And Cass uses his angel powers to ascertain this information while they go up to go and find them. And they're pretty much getting tortured to get information on Jack and Mary and the rest of the survivors. And in comes in this, I don't even know why this was going on, but we come in and it's like, you don't have to talk, we'll get our best interrogator in here. And it's essentially Nazi Cass. I don't know why this was in this episode. This is where my focus thing comes into play. Why was this needed? He's pretty much trying to torture Charlie and everything to get more information, does his essential Nazi angel monologuing. I mean, he's even got the outfit that looks kind of reminiscent of a Nazi. He's got an accent that's like European kind of Nazi kind of thing going on. And it was just stupid. I didn't even really find it funny. I'm going, okay, we got another Cass, and then everybody busts in. Our Cass kills this Cass. I would have been more interested if Jack had to deal with this fact and be like, oh, this is another evil Cass. And have to deal with it that way. But no. It was just a detour to fill up minutes and filler, in my opinion. Which it could have been written in a better way and all that. So, we've got everything back together. We got everybody ready to go to the rift. We had seen a kind of little scene as well where Lucifer just took out angels, and because he had handcuffs on that were supposed to hold him, he's like, sorry, being his stupid self. And they're going to have Lucifer driving the bus that they're going to go to the rift and everything. They've got only a certain amount of hours left now that they've got everybody together. And Jack decides that this is the point that he's going, I'm going to go kill Michael because I made this promise. And he was just going to go off by himself. And it's mainly Sam and Lucifer, mainly Lucifer, that talks him out and be like, listen, sometimes it's better to retreat, regroup, and not go off half-cocked with this plan. And sometimes doing the right thing could go wrong. That's an interesting line of thought for Lucifer to go for his son. That it actually gets through to him as he then gets on the bus with him. It was just felt like it was an unnecessary kind of point to go on. Not as bad as Nazi Cass, but it's like, dude. This Michael has taken on and beaten Lucifer. Granted, you're still getting stronger, but what's your plan of attack? He would probably be surrounded by angels, have them smite you or whatnot, and then come in and coup de grace your head. That's if you go by yourself. You would need a lot of people to go on to this. So they pretty much get to the rift, and they pretty much just start shoveling people through. We've seen Rowena is keeping the rift open and is like happy with people going through, and we get everybody going through. We get Jack, we get Apocalypse World Bobby and everything. We get a good amount of the people, Mary. But then, of course, that's when Michael shows up, takes out about like the last 3 people, 3 red shirts that were hesitant to go on. And we essentially get a repeat of Season 5 for Gabriel's arc. He's like, go on, guys. And he tries to fight him and he gets killed. And this time he's dead because the kill shot that we get at the end is we see his angel wings burned on the ground. I wouldn't have as much of a problem with this as we had already done this in Season 5. Yes, there's the point that we had growth with Gabriel's character, but it was so minuscule and, again, already had been done in Season 5 that it's like, why? And Lucifer, of course, getting his ass kicked. We got Dean going through and Sam just pushes back Lucifer and then gets through the portal before it closes. And their whole plan was to make Lucifer stay on the Apocalypse side. I have a question for you. We have about 4 archangels. Alright? Archangel grace is required for this spell. We know Raphael's dead. Gabriel's now dead. Lucifer's on Apocalypse World. The only other one you'd be able to get would be Michael from the cage. And I doubt he'd be frickin' feeling up to it at that point. To help you out. To go fight another version of himself. So, either they had no intention of doing that to help that world, which I don't believe the Winchester brothers would do that at all, or the writers had to force the plot to have it to the point where Lucifer joins forces with that Michael, essentially making a pact to get over that world to get to his son and let that Michael take over that world. Yeah, that was not my cup of tea. So I'm going, alright, that's alright. And it's never explained why that Michael is vastly more powerful than Lucifer. I don't need an in-depth explanation. I just need at least power rankings of how this stuff goes down. DBZ logic, at least. So we conclude the episode then with seeing all the survivors kind of toasting to Sam and Dean for saving them and everything, and that's about it. I only see that this Lucifer thing will come back to bite him in the butt with mainly Jack being like pissed off. Oh, you threw my father in there, but that would be more plot influencing Jack to act pissed off than Jack being pissed off because he doesn't really know or care about Lucifer. I mean, he was more upset when Sam was dead. So we also saw kind of previews for next week's episode, and what looked weird was that it looks like Dean is going to get some kind of power-up or something, because he flies at some point. I don't know if he's going to be like Angel Dean or something at some point. I hate that theory. I don't like that theory, but what I'm seeing and what the plot is demanding people do leads me to believe that Dean will get into some kind of position that he has to become some kind of otherworldly thing, or get some kind of interesting kind of power-up or whatnot, a la kind of Demon Dean, but I don't know. So, some things that I started thinking about after the end of this episode was lore continuity and everything, especially bringing up Lucifer, Gabriel, this whole kind of roundabout thing that we're going on. God should be factored into this. And there's other questions that need to be done. Okay, we've got analogous archangels. Is our God, the one that we know, Chuck, God of all these multiverses? Or are they multiple different Chucks around multiple different multiverses? Because that gets into the realm of fact of freaking God fighting, and oh my god, it is turning into Dragon Ball Super. Or that Chuck needs to step in because people are now actively messing with other universes, which could unravel the fabric of reality, which is an even bigger threat than his sister taking out one universe. I don't know, it's just... I love this show and I love the characters. But when this kind of stuff starts happening, it just irks me to no end when you see how this just starts flying against logic and just making it almost too much trouble to even try and comprehend to a certain point. You're going, okay, how is this going to resolve? And I don't mind having to think and theory craft and have mysteries with shows. I love doing that. But when you get to a point where you're going, wait a minute, this already happened, you need this, why? When it starts to break the suspension of disbelief, it just gets crazy. So, I wasn't too thrilled with this episode, but I have had worse episodes that I've seen. So, I hope that we get a better endgame out of this than what's being alluded to, and that we get some different kind of things going on that doesn't end in a just weird kind of way. So, those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.